You listen to 3 Mob Radio.
Right, very good afternoon to you all, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a pleasure to have you here at our own Theatre of Dreams, Harare Sports Club. We appreciate taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us this afternoon at such a short notice. But thank you very much. I know you've been speculating what the special announcement is all about. Is it Zimbabwe's reinstatement? Is it Darlington becoming the new MD?
That's the one.
But anyway, without wasting much of your time, I'll introduce the gentleman that I'm sitting here with. I know there's the cliche that someone of his stature doesn't need any introduction. But in February 2000, just aged 16 and still a schoolboy at Churchill School, he became the first black Zimbabwean and youngest player to score a first-class century. A year later, in July 2001, at the age of 17 years and 354 days, he scored 119 against the West Indies here at Harare Sports Club, in the process becoming the youngest player in the world to score a century on Test debut. He has gone on to score, to play 209 ODIs, scoring 5,658 runs, including 5 centuries and 34 50s, and also took 39 wickets. As of today, he has also played 38 tests, scoring 2,223 runs, including 5 centuries and 8 50s, taking 16 wickets. He has also played 62 T20Is, scoring 1,529 runs, including 10 50s and 2 wickets. He has played 140 first-class matches, scoring 9,564 runs, including 23 centuries and 44 50s and 62 wickets. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you one of the legends of the game of cricket in Zimbabwe, Hamilton Masakadza, who is the Zimbabwe national cricket team captain. You will proceed to read his statement to you, and afterwards we'll take questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Darlington. It's been a bit of an emotional day, so you'll forgive me if I struggle through some parts of this. After a great deal of consideration, I've decided to announce my retirement from all formats of international cricket at the end of the upcoming Triangular Series in Bangladesh. It has been an enormous privilege to have played for and captained my country, and this is one of the hard decisions I've had to make. As a bow out, I still can't believe it has been 18 years since I played my first international match for Zimbabwe, scoring 119 against the West Indies in Harare, and in the process becoming the youngest player in the world at the age of 17 and 354 days to make a century on Test debut. Throughout my international career, that has seen me playing 38 Tests, 209 one-day internationals, and 62 T20s. It has always been about giving everything to the team, playing with dignity, and upholding the spirit of the game. It has not been an easy road. I failed it at times, but I've never stopped trying. That's what makes it sad for me to leave, but I can do so with pride and a big smile on my face, knowing I've given everything to the game and my nation. I was looking forward to the ICC T20 World Cup qualifier in Dubai next month, but with Zimbabwe barred from taking part in the event, I feel the time is right to focus. I feel the time is right for the focus to shift to the next generation. With some fantastic talent coming through, and with Zimbabwe's focus now on the 2023 edition of the ICC Cricket World Cup, I believe now is the time for the younger players to rise to the challenge of taking us to the global showpiece. Indeed, now is the time for a new generation of young players to make their own history and take Zimbabwe cricket team further. As I look back, as one does at such a time, I have many people to thank for supporting me, teaching me, and believing in me. My junior coaches from the primary school days in Highfields and the Takashika Cricket Club taught me the basics and inculcated in me a powerful love for the game, which has always stayed with me. My coaches at the provincial and international levels added to my craft and helped shape my personality. They pushed me and challenged me to keep getting better. The trainers worked hard to keep me fit, not an easy job, and allowed me to play late into my 30s. In fact, all the support staff have been incredible throughout my career. I'll mention all of my trainers, Kuda sitting in the back there. The Zimbabwe Cricket Board had confidence in me and entrusted me with the captaincy, and I'm grateful for that privilege. I must also express my gratitude to ZC for providing me a platform and the facilities to play the game. The media has been kind to me, highlighting my achievements and always challenging me to aim high and keep going. Thank you. But most of all, I have to thank the teams I played with. I know what I'm going to miss the most is being part of a change room. The joy of bonding together and striving to achieve a goal is what made cricket special for me. I learned a lot from my teammates, and I leave the game with wonderful memories and strong friendships. A career in sport is almost impossible to manage without the support, guidance, and reassurance of family and friends. During tough times, and there have been many, my wife Vimbai has been a remarkable pillar of strength as she created around me a positive environment which was essential to my success. I also found strength and encouragement from my parents and brothers. Finally, I would like to thank the Zimbabwe cricket fan. The game is lucky to have you, and I've been lucky to play before you. To represent Zimbabwe and thus to represent you has been a privilege and one which I will always cherish. Let me sign off by wishing my successor and the Zimbabwe team success in the future. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Hamilton. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you have so many questions on Zimbabwe cricket, but may I ask you to focus on this issue that we have come here for. If you have any other questions, feel free to see me afterwards. So I will start taking questions for Hamilton. Yes, Babadin.
Hammy, I think I speak on behalf of every cricket fan when, first of all, wishing you nothing but the very best, congratulating you on an incredibly tough career. I don't think many of us really appreciate what you had to go through in order to, first of all, get into the side as a young player, then to just continue to do what you had to do. So many congratulations, first of all, on that. An incredibly sad day, but what happens, what have you considered what your future will be? I personally see you being an incredibly good mentor for young kids. You seem to work very well with them and love them. Is it something you've considered, or is it first of all just getting through that T20 triangular series and then taking it from there?
Yeah, thanks, Dino. I think, yeah, you're right. I do enjoy working with the young people, and yeah, but for now, like you said, it's just getting through the triangular series, and we'll keep working on it from there. But I'll definitely love to give back to the game that has given me so much over such a long period. So yeah, you definitely won't be seeing the last of me just yet.
May I just ask one more?
Okay, indeed.
An incredibly good career in terms of achievements. What would be your, in terms of personal achievement, what would be the one that really stands out head and shoulders? And then as a team, what would be the one that you would say, wow, I was a part of that team. I may not have contributed, but the team effort was really special.
I think from the team on, two come to mind from recent times. Our test victory in Bangladesh, where people have been going and really struggling to come out with anything, but we went there and won that first test and won it quite well. And also on a team point of view, one-day series win in Sri Lanka, where we hadn't won before. It was the first one-day series win in Sri Lanka, so that also stands out quite a bit. And yeah, obviously personally, my debut 100 will have to be one of the highlights of my career. Obviously the Kenya series where I scored 2 scores more than 150. Yeah, and yeah, also being man of the series in that Sri Lanka series that I spoke about was those I think would be the standouts.
Okay. Anyone else? It's Larry.
So, I know you mentioned the aspect of the need to give it out to the next generation, given that 2023 was 2021 the next tournaments that are coming. The question that I ask is, how much of recent events outside the cricket itself had a bearing on your decision?
I would say not really too much. Like I mentioned earlier, it was for me, I was sort of feeling it was sort of coming towards the end of my career. And the one thing that was really keeping me going was at least trying to play in one more World Cup for the country, which would have been the T20s. But now that we're not really involved in that, I just thought, might as well call the time now. Make way for the next guy coming through. Because I think really with the focus now being blooding guys and having guys starting to prepare to qualify for that World Cup, I feel I'll just be standing in the way of someone else if I stay on now. So for me, it's not really the recent events that took thing, but the fact that we're no longer in the T20 World Cup and there's really not too much left for me to play for really. Yep.
Okay.
One of the things that happens often in local cricket is that when people retire from international cricket, they don't get involved in local cricket, especially under playing level. Do you still intend to represent the Mountaineers? And of course that helps pass on, the skills and mindset to younger players coming through the system.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely love to still play a little bit of domestic cricket. Obviously, I'm going to retire from all forms of international cricket, but I'll still take part in the domestic games. Like you said, it'd be good to also keep passing on a little bit more information to some of the guys coming through, still playing with them. I think it was very big for me when I first started playing with the guys like Andy Flower and Grant Flower, and those guys who had played such a long time at this level. I really learned quite a lot from them. So I think it would only be fair, or it would be really amiss if I didn't give another youngster the same opportunity to also learn a little bit from me and feed off me as well.
Okay. Munye?
And I mean, looking back into your career, do you have any regrets maybe in terms of what you could have achieved?
Yeah, obviously the one thing that stands out is I didn't really get to play in as many World Cups as I would have wanted to. I missed out on 2 50-over World Cups, and that really got to me a little bit. But it was just setbacks, and I managed to come back from those, and I still came back and played and represented the country, which was good. But I think that's the only one thing that I'd look back, and I think I would have wanted to definitely do a little bit more, because I only got 1 50-over World Cup. I would have wanted to have a few more.
Right.
Thanks for the memories. How best do you want to be remembered?
That's a bit of a tough one. I guess as someone who just always gave it all for the team, and as someone who always wore the badge with pride.
Okay. Is there anyone else? Is Sean?
Congratulations on the stellar career. Your achievements are great. How would you describe the legacy that you hope you leave?
Well, I just hope I've left a legacy of guys realizing that there's no substitute for hard work, and the only way that we go forward is as one, and as one unit. And if we can gel together, I think the times we've played our best. We've been really one, and we've been really one strong, cohesive unit. So I hope that's what I leave for the guys. Just the importance of being one, and the importance of putting the work in and enjoying each other's success.
Okay, Brian again.
Hamilton, you were involved in like the modern cricket. You made your debut. Played a bit of international cricket. Went away to school, came back, and some thought probably your few years varsity. Probably you lost quite a bit. You would come back as the same player. What would you advise to the young and upcoming players? Looking back at your own experience, both playing and going to university, and now you are now retiring after a stellar career.
I would say guys shouldn't really limit themselves too much. So it's not about just focusing on one line of work or focusing on one career. That's the reason why I went to university to study, because I always knew at some stage I might want to come out of cricket. So I wanted to have that background. So I would advise the younger guys to do that as well. And I'd also advise if they still want to play, go to university that does have cricket. Because I thought, even in the time that I was at university, I actually learned quite a lot with my cricket as well, because I kept playing and I played against some very strong opposition as well. So I don't really think I missed out too much. Obviously, it's not the same playing at that level and playing international cricket, but I still thought I learned quite a bit in that period, and I actually managed to come back and use some of that in my career. So I would say the biggest thing is don't really limit yourself. You always have a lot more time on your hands than you think. so you can still pursue an education and still play professional sport.
Okay, Dean?
Which former player did you feel that you benefited the most from, and which current player did you enjoy playing the most with?
Former player would probably have to be Andy Farr, because I mentioned earlier that he came and played with us. He came and played with us at Takashinga, and just being on the same field with him and just learning from his experience and picking up from what he used to do was really a big part of our learning the game and our progressing. And I think from the current players, probably someone who sort of stands out for me would be Elton. I've played quite a lot with him, even from having watched him growing up as a youngster. And then because he played in our under-19 team when he was still just 15, and having been captained by him as well, I think he's always been one of the more positive guys, and one of the guys who's always really believed in the team and who's always really believed in the boys. So I think just being around that positivity and just the sheer talent that has been as well has really been very good for me as well.
Thanks. The Kenyan syndrome, so to speak, has been talked about related to cricket, that we're probably going that way. Being somebody who's from an establishment, do you think we could go that way, or what do you think are the prospects of our game going forward?
Thanks, Tata.
All right. You don't want to take that one?
Oh, you want me to?
The prospects of, the prospects of the Zimbabwe game going forward, yeah.
Oh no, I don't think we anywhere near what happened to Kenya. I think our setup is a lot stronger, and even our domestic structure and even our management has been a lot better and a lot stronger than what was happening in Kenya. Because you mentioned where Kenya was, they were definitely a powerhouse at one stage, but I felt the biggest thing that they didn't do right was that they didn't look after the guys coming through, so they just concentrated on the main guys that were there. So by the time those guys left, they didn't really have any too many players to replace them, which is where I think the road sort of started. But with us, I think we've got a really strong group of young cricketers coming through, and we've got a lot of guys waiting to replace the current crop. So I think from that perspective, we're definitely looking a lot stronger than Kenya, and even in our structures and in our domestic structures and everything, I think ours have been run a lot better, and have looked a lot stronger than what the guys have in Kenya.
Okay, I'll take a few more. Larry?
You missed 5 years of Test cricket, and everybody felt like you could have developed a lot during that period. That's number one. And number two, those are two separate questions. What advice would you give to your successor?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing you mentioned that. I forgot to mention that is one of the highlights of my career as well. But like you mentioned, we missed 5 years of Test cricket, but I managed to get 100 on the first game back, and I'd made a bit of a wager with some of the guys who was going to get the first one back, and I managed to get that. So that's another high point. But yeah, I think. It was obviously tough not being in Test cricket for the time that we were, but at least we were still playing in the one-days, so that sort of helped us keep going a little bit. But for me, Test cricket still remains the highest level of the game, and I don't think a team can really develop without Test cricket. So it's really good that we've gotten back into Test cricket, and looking forward into this next season. We've actually got quite a bit of Test cricket coming up, so that's really exciting for the boys as well. And I think that's where you really improve as a cricketer, when you play Test cricket. So. It took us back a little bit because we missed those years, but now it's a good thing that we're back in Test cricket and back playing a little bit more regular Test cricket. And I'll just say, as a bit of advice to the next guy, I'll just say, like I mentioned earlier, the biggest thing is to just put the work in and get the boys working together as a unit and get the guys pulling in one direction. I think once you do that with the amount of talent that we have in Zim, we're really hard to stop.
Okay. The last one, Brian.
Hamilton, maybe looking back at your career, one of the things that happened with a strong domestic structure, and it has really shown towards the end of the career, where people have been crying for youngsters to come through. but they're failing to score runs against probably the bowling attack that we have, but you score runs against that bowling attack, which probably exposed our structures, so to say. So maybe going forward, how best can who's also who's not playing any more international cricket yourself, how best can we revamp that system so that when we have our youngsters come through, we've got youngsters who are good enough to play for Zimbabwe, where they don't feel out of place once they win the jersey?
Yeah, again, that's another excellent question. Like you mentioned, when we first started playing, the club cricket structure was really strong, a lot stronger than it is now. But that's already part of what's already in the pipeline for the next season and for the seasons coming up. I think the management is already working on getting those structures right and improving firstly club cricket again, and then obviously keeping the domestic cricket going in the way that it has been, maybe a few more games there. And I think another important thing that they're looking at, and I've been reliably informed that this is going to happen, is the A-side cricket. I think that's what we've lacked a little bit in the past couple of seasons, obviously because of the where we were financially, but I think that's improved quite a lot now, and there's going to be a lot more A-side cricket, and I think that really helps for the guys to develop and to play at that level before they get exposed to international cricket. Because I think that's been the biggest missing link from the guys making that step up between domestic cricket and international cricket. So having an opportunity to play in those A games and having a little bit more A-side cricket is definitely going to help the boys.
Okay, the final one. Okay, I'll take the last two, okay? Rob, then Munya. Then we're done.
I'm starting to enjoy this now. I've recovered, so we can go.
Is there any possibility of us having Hamilton Masakadza as the Zim cricket chairman at some point in your life?
Again, another difficult one, but yeah, I wouldn't see why not. Maybe 15, 20 years down the line.
All right. Okay, Munya.
And you're obviously coming from a cricket team family with Shingi and Wellington. How did it feel for you maybe to be playing in the national team around your brothers?
Well, it was really a blessing for me to have my brothers around me when I was playing. I always started with Shingi and then more recently with Weli. It's given us a little bit more time to be together, and we've played together for the Mountaineers as well, and we've really enjoyed it. And just a bit of a joke, my dad always says we mustn't travel together because if there's any mishap, there'll be too much of a loss for him. But yeah, it's really been a blessing for me, and it's really been good for us to be in the same team. And I remember in one of the test matches as well, we're playing here at home, and we actually walked off with Shingi. Had come in as night watchman, and we managed to see off the day. And we walked off, and I remember mum and dad sitting right there as we walked off. So that's also another special moment in my career.
Right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Just a few updates. Zimbabwe will be touring Bangladesh for the triangular series involving us, Bangladesh, the hosts, and Afghanistan. That will be Hamilton's last series as captain. The team has been in camp. They are practicing, and we expect to leave Harare on Saturday, the 7th. The team, I know most of you were expecting it to be announced today, but the team will be announced on Thursday. And the coach will be available to take your questions. Once he does the announcement, I will let you know the time and place, most probably here again on Thursday.
This is a 3Mob Radio production. www.3-mob.com